This is the BrewVerie Report. Daily news, once monthly. Here are your anchors, Paige, JT, and Mike.
Welcome to the BrewVerie Report, where we deliver your daily news monthly. I am Jiggly Tatas, and this is...
Oh, Mike the Tool, because I went to Tool yesterday.
Yeah! It looked awesome.
Oh,
It
was
looked
awesome.
Looked so good.
The 4 hours of sleep isn't as fun, but...
No. Paige is hanging out with her goats today, so she couldn't be with us. I don't know why not, because they're in her room, so I just figure,
Yeah, exactly.
Both. I'm lobbing comments. She ain't even here to defend herself. Oh, there she is.
That was comments from her room.
That was way too good.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, man. Well, we're happy to be here, and we're so happy to be here that and we respect you all so much that we're gonna pop right into...
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
And then we're going to Washington, D.C. to take back the White House! There you go. Why don't we just ask Obama what since he won by such a big amount.
Oh, my God. Why don't you go first, JT?
All right. Well, there's a lot going on in American politics today.
Not at all. What are you talking about?
Yeah, right. I had a buffet. I had a regular old Golden Corral to choose from, including, I did not pick this, but Trump talking in his speech about how wind power in the oceans was confusing whales and they were dying at higher rates.
Because of course.
And that's why he's leading by so many points. But what I wanted to focus on today was the inability of the Republican Party to find a House Speaker. So I am calling this the hunt for Red House Speaker. And if you're familiar with the hunt for Red October, therein lies the situation. So this has been going on since October 2nd. We narrowly missed a government shutdown in which, for those who aren't aware, when the government shuts down, nobody gets paid. And that includes military.
Huh.
And their families. And a lot of other things.
National parks, all that stuff.
Right. All of that closes. It's terrible. So the party that is really kind of pushing for this shutdown is the one that is all about the military.
Yeah, of course.
Imagine that. So on October 2nd, Florida Republican Matt Gaetz announced literally a ventriloquist dummy with a tie. He officially announced that he was going to move to oust Kevin McCarthy, as Speaker by filing what's known as a motion to vacate. Now, a lot of people think this shouldn't have been done, and a lot of people felt bad for McCarthy. I didn't exactly, for many reasons. One being McCarthy decided, in order to get Speaker of the House, to allow Matt Gaetz and his buddies to walk all over him. How, you say? By taking the necessary number of people who need to file a motion to vacate or vote on that down to one. His job relied on him making everybody happy unless one person wanted to vacate. So that's what you get, dude. Sucks for you. Anyways, he launched his effort 2 days after the Speaker reached an 11th hour deal to fund the government, because they were going to hold that hostage too. And yep. Anyway, so October 3rd, the allies of McCarthy unsuccessfully tried to table his resolution to declare the office of Speaker vacant. 11 Republicans voted against the effort to spare the Speaker, and that was just enough. And a final vote was 216 to 210, and McCarthy was removed from his position. It's the first time in history a Speaker's been voted out during a congressional session.
Jesus.
I believe 60, 70 years ago. No, probably more than that, actually, at this point. There was a speaker who said, this will be fun. Let's find out if people like me. And then they kept him in. And that's about all that's happened.
Oh my God.
So anyways, he's gone.
U.S. politics.
Republican Patrick McHenry, also known as a member of the Munchkin Guild, he's in North Carolina, and he's the designated speaker pro tempore. So he's temporary, and he doesn't like it. He doesn't like the fact that he doesn't have any power.
Yep.
But he did have enough power to change his chair because the chair made him look short. So he changed the chair to make him look a little taller.
I would vote down that.
This guy is he's about 5'4". That's not really that short, but I mean, it's not.
Oh, that's pretty short. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the chair definitely dwarfed him. That's probably a bad way to say that. The chair made him look very small.
Yes.
Anyway, so McHenry decided to immediately recess the House to allow Republican and Democratic conferences to meet and discuss the path forward. On October 11th, Majority Leader Steve Scalise is, by the way, the next couple people that I'm going to mention, they're insane.
Yes, they
anyway,
are.
Steve Scalise is selected by the Republican conference as the nominee for Speaker by a vote of 113 to 99.
Wow.
That's not very confident.
No.
But he defeated Republican Jim Jordan, the chairman of House Judiciary Committee, conservative firebrand, racist, sexist, abuser, etc. Because of course.
Yeah, of course.
A day after winning the Speaker nomination, Scalise withdraws his candidacy. The Majority Leader tells reporters that there are still schisms that have to be resolved. There's deep divisions in that department. Anyways, Republicans then select Jordan by secret ballot as their second nominee. He is the sloppy seconds for House Speaker in a closed-door Friday meeting. He co-founded the House Freedom Caucus, which is far-right GOP lawmakers, served as its chairman. He's a huge defender of President Donald Trump. He also, allegedly, was very much in the room when it happened in terms of the insurrection.
Oh, I'm not surprised at all. All those idiots are.
So October 17th, the House convened to hold its first formal vote for Speaker. Republicans nominate Jordan. Democrats select Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries. By the way, Hakeem Jeffries has received every single Democratic vote all 20 times they've held this vote in the past congressional session. So yeah. Straight across the board. Anyways, after the first ballot, he fell short. He won 200 votes to Jeffries 212. He needed 217. 20 Republicans voted for someone other than Jordan. 7 GOP lawmakers voted for Scalise, blah, 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 blah. So the next day, they gathered for a second vote. Jordan and Jeffries again. Jordan again fails to secure the votes. Jordan again pledges not to step aside. So he's not going to step aside. October 20th, they hold a third vote for Speaker. Jordan continues to bleed support from fellow Republicans. On the third ballot, he loses 25 lawmakers. So doesn't have enough. The GOP conference convenes for a closed-door meeting. Apparently, there's a bunch of yelling. People are like waving their like pocket constitutions around. There's praying. There's crying.
Oh my God.
Okay. So, October 22nd, 9 Republicans meet a deadline to announce their candidacies. So we've gone from hardly being able to find somebody to 2 to 9. Only 2 of those 9 voted to certify the results of the 2020 presidential election.
Just
the
what
other
you want.
7 said this is not an actual. This is a fake election. So the 23rd, they meet for a candidate forum. The contenders make their pitch. A couple people drop out. Former President Donald Trump weighs in, declines to endorse any of the candidates. Instead, he tells reporters during the campaign stop in New Hampshire that I'm sort of trying to stay out of the race. It's unclear how much his endorsement actually holds. He did throw his support behind Jordan, and that failed. On the 24th, they gathered again behind closed doors, selected their nominee for Speaker. Palmer drops out of the race just before the meeting, bringing the field of candidates to 7. The party holds 5 rounds of voting in all. And ultimately, the nod goes to Emmer, the majority whip. That's Tom Emmer of Minnesota.
Can the majority whip him?
Don't you wish. Today or yesterday, one of the two. Where are we? Here we go. Okay. So there have been 3 nominees for Speaker. Majority Whip Tom Emmer was the latest to earn the nod and try to secure the 217 votes, but within hours of receiving his party's backing, he dropped out. So they are
premature
left
again.
with nothing. It's like the most toxic band looking for a lead singer, and nobody wants to be a part of it.
Yeah.
And so yeah. So well done. Well done, GOP. You are the reason why ultimately this government will shut down, and you will continue to blame the Democrats for it.
Yeah.
And it's very evident that those of us with brains know that that's not the case. So, everybody's like, why didn't the Democrats vote to keep McCarthy in? Well, because McCarthy just an hour beforehand said, I don't need the Democrats. I'll be fine. Okay. You don't need the Democrats. Guess you did, buddy.
Yeah, no shit, right?
That McCarthy's the guy who I saw when I was visiting the Capitol walk by. And he just seemed, he is like the human embodiment of vanilla.
Lizard vanilla.
Lizard vanilla. There is like nothing to him. Anyways, that's my politics for the day, and I continue to watch this roller coaster of basically up in the air, not being able to breathe. That's how high you are, and then down into the shit, and then back up.
Yep.
So.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, before I start with my story, I've got to explain a little thing because it actually matters. So a lot of people, especially in the United States, think that Democrats and liberals are left-wing. No. And they're not. They're centrist.
No. Yes.
Like the definition of politics, those are centrist parties. The United States doesn't have a major left-wing party at all. Canada does, the New Democratic Party, NDP. And the province of Manitoba is very much a conservative province. They usually have a conservative party. And Manitoba NDP to form majority government in historic win for First Nations Premier. So I think it's pronounced Wab Kinew. They become the first First Nations provincial premier in Canada. And he spoke to young Indigenous people and those from all backgrounds in his victory speech Tuesday after the NDP won a majority in Manitoba in the Manitoba election. And this was on October 3rd. So, quote, I was given a second chance in life, Kinew said to a cheering crowd. Quote, I would like to think that I have made good on that opportunity, and you can do the same. So Kinew's late father was not allowed to vote as a young man under Canadian law at the time. His mother's birthday was election night, and he brought her on stage to celebrate this historic win along with his wife and 3 sons.
Wow.
Yeah, right?
That's
One
cool.
generation back. The NDP's victory also brought the resignation of the other 2 main parties' leaders. Heather Stephenson announced that she would step down from the helm of the Progressive Conservatives after several of her cabinet members lost their seats in Winnipeg. The provincial capital holds 32 of the 57 legislature seats. And then Manitoba's Liberal leader also resigned after he lost his own Winnipeg riding. And their party was reduced to 1 seat from previous 3 seats.
And this is in a generally conservative province?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. Not only is it NDP, the left-wing party, it's also the first time an Indigenous person has been a premier, which is the head of the province in
Pretty
Canada.
Awesome. Long time coming, but awesome.
As I say, his win received praise from Indigenous leaders and politicians across the country. Grand Chief Kathy Merrick of the Assembly of Manitoba's Chiefs said it was a source of great pride to see a First Nations person leading the government. Federal NDP leader Jagmeet Singh posted on social media that Kinew inspired generations of Indigenous youth to come. The NDP gained seats in the urban ridings and held on to the north. The Progressive Conservatives held seats in rural areas, but Cabinet Minister Rochelle Squires, Kevin Klein, and Audrey Gordon were defeated in Winnipeg.
It's almost like the rural areas don't get all the news channels.
Yeah, exactly. In the middle of the campaign, the Progressive Conservatives decided to highlight their refusal to search the private Prairie Green landfill north of Winnipeg for the remains of 2 slain Indigenous women. Police have charged a man with first-degree murder. The Conservatives took out ads, including large billboards, promising they would stand firm in opposing a landfill search due to safety concerns over asbestos and other toxic materials. So, yeah, the Conservatives were like, we're not going to search this landfill. And that probably turfed their whole campaign.
I'm concerned now about the fact that there's that stuff just chilling in a landfill.
Yeah.
Like uncovered. You know what I mean? Like if that's a concern, you got bigger issues, and I'm pretty sure you probably passed the legislation to allow for it. So they should all be made to go search.
Here too. The NDP has been leading in opinion polls for the last 2 years. The Conservatives' support dropped during COVID-19 pandemic as hospitals struggled to deal with rising case numbers and dozens of intensive care patients that had to be flown to other provinces. So that's pretty different for a conservative area to go, oh, wait, you guys are doing this wrong.
I mean, there is something to be said for at least enough people learning, oh, they don't give a shit about us.
Yeah, exactly.
It's all lip service. At least, like, if you're going to be that far up my ass, use some lube.
Exactly.
Right?
So I just wanted to share that because it's really cool to see a First Nations person be the premier, and especially them taking over a conservative province. It's awesome.
At least some countries are, at least provinces of countries are figuring it out.
Yeah, other ones are going,
well,
very much the way of the Trumpists. So, yeah.
I said I was sorry, man.
I'm afraid being famous isn't the same as being a true hero.
That's a wrap, ladies and gentlemen. Please clear the set. That's a wrap.
So, celebrities have been known to sell weird shit to make money. So here's what I want to play a small game, and I want you to put yourself in the mindset of a reality TV star from 90 Day Fiancé. I know.
I don't want to.
This person, her name's Stephanie Motto. And, the fact that they say 90 Day Fiancé star, I think that's kind of a really loose definition. But she ended up hospitalized after eating too many of these things to sell what she wanted to sell online. I will tell you this. She was selling each individual thing for $1,000 a piece, and she made over $200,000 in 2 months.
I know what this is.
What?
She was selling her farts.
She sure as fuck was, my friend. She sure as was.
People are so fucked up, and I don't even mean her.
After eating too many beans to sell farts. So, this was a 2-month venture in which she made $200,000. She was subsisting on a diet of yogurt, eggs, and beans, and ended up in the hospital when she thought she was having a heart attack. She is...
Yeah, of course.
Again, this is a very loose definition of these things. Influencer, YouTuber, author, and former star of TLC's 90 Day Fiancé.
Jesus.
So she is bottling and selling her own farts. I'm going to copy this image address and send it to you. This is freaking ridiculous. While you're looking, for 2 months, she spent her days farting into glass jars with flower petals adorning the inside and shipping them to fans. She was making $50,000 per week.
I mean, yes, she is very conventionally attractive. No, I would never pay for a jar of her farts.
No. She was making $50,000 per week in December through fart sales alone, and eventually sold more than $200,000 worth of farts worldwide through the adult website Unfiltered, which I've never heard.
Not even on OnlyFans, huh?
No. I'm sure she... yep. Mm-hmm. In January 2021, she was hospitalized for what she thought was a heart attack, but turned out to be a dangerous buildup of gas inside her body from her flatulence-inducing diet. And now she says her fart-selling days are behind her.
Bowling for dollars.
Bowling for soup.
Uh,
So like, you know how like in movies there's that whole trope of I think I'm hurting, I think I'm dying, I think I'm having a heart attack. Oh, it's just gas. This is literally
Yeah.
what happened to her in real life. And I just don't understand. I mean, like,
Neither do I.
if she was farting rainbows, like we all know women do. No, they don't. It's not true. But if she was farting rainbows, maybe I'd buy a jar. A rainbow in a jar, kind of fucking cool. It's like my own personal unicorn. However, once you open first off, don't open the jar. But if you
Yeah.
open the jar, it's gone.
Yeah, exactly.
It's done. It's done. So I don't know, but she needs to stop. And I'm
Yes,
glad
she
that
does.
she did. So
But I did have baked beans for dinner, so if I need to go get a jar to sell someone some fart, let me know.
right? That's all I'm saying.
Yep.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
God. Is that everything?
Oh, wait a second. Stephanie Motto is the CEO. Stephanie Motto is the CEO. Is she? Hold on. Yep.
A Farts Incorporated?
No, she's the CEO of Unfiltered.
Oh,
So, was this just a
publicity thing?
publicity thing? I don't know. I mean,
I've heard of this, but I've never heard of that company, so I don't know if it worked.
true. I don't know. Fascinating.
Open up the
yeah.
OnlyFans sister site, Only Farts.
Only okay, so listen. So I know you and I, in no way, shape, or form, would ever purchase something like that. But,
No.
and that's a pun
But.
intended. But if there was a celebrity that you would buy farts from, who would it be?
There's no one. It's just so dumb.
But if you had to pick somebody, let's say you had a buku amount of disposable income, which nobody our age does, and you were just like, you know what? That seems just to be something silly to put on my mantle. Not that you like it, not that you want to smell it. It's just something silly, and you have disposable income. Who would you pick?
It'd be funny if you pick someone that had like horrible smelling gas and you give it to someone as a present and don't tell them what it is. I'm just kidding.
It's an air candle. Just open
Yes,
it. It makes
just
your
open
room
it.
smell good.
Ugh.
Now, hold on.
I
Now,
don't
listen.
know.
You pulled a politician and you sidestepped that question. So,
yes, I did.
listen, if I had disposable income and I just wanted something sitting on the shelf, I'd be like, yep, I'll buy it from Ryan Reynolds. End of story. That's it. That's who I would buy it from immediately. Deadpool farts? Yes, sir. Absolutely. And I hope there's like
That
a
is
little
too
Deadpool
funny.
in the jar. So
As long as
that's
there's no little dead poo in the jar.
I would absolutely pay to watch a movie of Ryan Reynolds in this situation.
But playing
think-
her.
Yes, only he could do this justice at all.
Oh, the
Anyways,
injustice of it all.
there's your celebrity news for the day. So feel free to, see if you can find on eBay Stephanie Motto farts, which I'm guessing are going for way more than $1,000 a jar now.
I hope for her sake, maybe.
Well, that
Ugh.
resale.
Yeah. Ugh. All right, this article came out on October 16th. Fourth graders distraught after Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey somehow gets shown in classroom. And if you don't know, this is the new, looks like awful horror movie.
Oh my
Fourth
gosh.
graders.
I love this.
There's horror and then there's trauma, and that's what a group of fourth graders recently got themselves into with the 2023 slasher film Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey. According to a parent who spoke with CBS Miami, their child and classmates were exposed to approximately a half hour of the Winnie the Pooh semi-parody horror film that dropped this year that reimagines the beloved children's character as a serial killer who dons a Pooh mask while stalking his prey. Oh, the film already has a sequel in the works too.
I believe it.
The
I
teacher
believe it.
didn't stop the movie, even though there were kids saying, "Hey, stop the movie. We don't want to watch this." The parent explained, "It's not for them to decide what they want to watch. It's up to the professor to look at the content." Oh my God. So the school issued a statement following the incident. The Academy for Innovative Education has become aware that a segment of a horror movie was shown to fourth graders Monday, October 2nd, 2023. That was not suitable for the age group, the statement said. Our administration promptly addressed the issue directly with the teacher and has taken appropriate action to ensure the safety and well-being of students. We are actively monitoring the students, and our mental health counselors and principals have already met with those students who have expressed concerns.
Oh, bother.
Yeah, teachers will want to probably pre-screen anything with blood in the title. It doesn't say if the teacher got fired or not, but I have to assume.
Maybe.
True. It's a CBS Miami. I mean, as long as the movie didn't say gay.
That's right. That's the funny part, is that they're banning books, and yet here we are watching Winnie the Pooh murder some peoples. Wow. Seascape Cafe at the Observatory in Lincolnshire, England, which is a cafe. It's also a community space, art gallery, exercise studio. Had police rush to the business shortly after a class wrapped up Wednesday around 9:30 p.m. because a concerned passerby mistook what was going on in the class as a mass killing.
Oh my God.
It wasn't. It was the final resting position of a yoga class. So,
this isn't the United States, guys. Like,
right. Ironically enough, the final resting pose is also known as the corpse pose.
Jesus.
It occurs at the end of a yoga class where people lie on their backs with their eyes closed in order to sink into a meditative state. The unidentified person, quote, reported a mass killing in our building, having seen several people lying on the floor, which actually turned out to be the yoga class in meditation. The yoga people were like, we're not part of any mad cult or crazy clubs. All in all, this situation turned out positive, and we are, of course, grateful. Apparently, he had good intentions, but it's just like, why is the first thing you think of like not everybody's having a Jonestown, all right?
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? Like, not everybody's having a Jonestown.
No.
So there's a random from moi.
All right, I got another one here.
All right.
A woman sues Disney World over severe injuries on a water slide.
Oh, geez.
A woman has sued Walt Disney Parks and Resorts after she says she sustained severe gynecological injuries on a water slide at Florida's Disney World, causing her to be hospitalized.
Holy Is there an explanation? Because I don't want one, but I do want one.
According to her lawsuit, Emma McGinnis was on a family trip in October 2019 to celebrate her 30th birthday when she was hurt while riding down the Typhoon Lagoon water park's fastest and tallest ride.
Yeah, I've been
After
on it.
descending the 214-foot slide called Humunga Cowabunga, the standing water at the ride's bottom abruptly brought her to a rapid stop, forcing her swimsuit into a painful wedgie, the lawsuit says.
Oh, no.
She experienced immediate and severe pain internally, and as she stood up, blood began to rush from between her legs, the complaint stated, adding that McGinnis was hospitalized. Yes, it gets
terrible.
Worse. McGinnis' injuries included severe vaginal lacerations, damage to her internal organs, and a full-thickness laceration that caused her bowel to protrude through her abdominal wall.
Holy shit. Was she wearing a bathing suit of razor blades?
Oh, no.
Usually they're not, like, those suits are not loose. So, like, how much fabric was available to do this?
Well, I mean, you're supposed to, usually on those kind of slides, you're supposed to cross your legs. And I wonder if at some point her legs came uncrossed and she couldn't get them crossed again. Maybe.
I mean, was she, listen, don't starch your bathing suit. Like, jeez. Ouch.
The suit filed last week in Orange County, Florida, where the
Suit.
park is located, accuses Disney of negligence in neither adequately warning riders of the injury risk nor providing protective clothing, such as shorts to riders. It claims at least $50,000 in damages. It's weird. Like, you should probably just have a rule about what the bathing suits have to be, and if they're not that, you don't go.
I'm pretty sure there's signage. I'm pretty sure. Also, Disney destroyed DeSantis. I don't know if this is gonna go anywhere. I mean, this sucks, but
it looks like you can ride that one on a raft or something, but you don't have to.
what is it? What is it called again?
Humunga Cowabunga. It says on the Humunga Cowabunga water slide, riders who do not use a raft or a tube can approach speeds of 40 miles per hour.
Yeah. Let's see here. Wait. Ooh, hold on. Okay, let's see. You should be in good health, free from heart conditions. Expecting a mother shouldn't ride. Clothing with rivets, buckles, or exposed metal and life jackets are not permitted. So I'm wondering if she had any of those things.
Here we go. McGinnis began the ride in the recommended positions, she says, but as she went through the slide, her body lifted up and became airborne, the suit claims, which increased the likelihood of her legs becoming uncrossed.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I'm watching a point of view version of this slide right now.
Oh, send it over.
Okay. I shall.
It's still 214 feet or whatever, so that's a long ways.
It is. I guess it just doesn't seem like it to me.
I wonder. I got to see how big our water slide is that we have here. We've got a free fall, it's called.
60-degree angle. I mean, like I could see. Here's what I could see. I could see water. Obviously, if you hit water fast enough, it's going to feel like cement. We talked about this right on the last episode of human, what was our thing?
Unnatural disasters.
Thank you. Unnatural disasters. But so I could see if a fellow was going down and hit at the wrong time or his legs were uncrossed, I could see water shoving things where they shouldn't be. But it's really hard to see the bathing suit thing. But I'm not saying it's wrong because obviously it happened. I don't know if Disney's to blame for that. This Humunga Cowabunga's been open for quite some time.
So I just looked it up. That one's 214 feet, and the free fall at our Cultist Lake water slides is only 72 feet. And that one feels like it's a long ways. Oh, and it's actually closed. Okay.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, it's enclosed, so you can't see where you're going.
Oh, yeah. I sent you the video.
Oh, did you? I didn't see it. The free fall here is like an open slide.
Apparently, you go about 30 miles per hour.
See if I can find the free fall at Cultist Lake, because while it's nowhere near as high, it seems way scarier. Here we go. I'm going to send it over. Well, it's less than half the height. It looks scarier, in my opinion.
Yeah. Oh, no, yeah. Anything that's open.
And you do get a little bit of air on that one.
Oh, I believe it. It looks like you go faster. But
very well could.
I mean, it looks like what it looks like is it looks like the angle is less than 60 degrees.
Yeah. I just can't get over the fact that they're only going for $50,000 in damages in the American health system.
Yeah. I mean, they probably wanted to go with something small enough so that they thought they could just settle out of court.
Could be, yeah.
That's my thought. That
Still
is my
seems
thought.
crazy.
So, a Missouri high school teacher is put on leave after school officials discover her page on what?
OnlyFans.
Yes, sir.
OnlyFans.
Yep, she was placed on leave after they discovered she was performing on a pornography website, also known as OnlyFans. Brianna Coppage, 28, who taught English at St. Clair High School, says her teaching days are probably over, but she knew the risks. She said that it was always like this cloud hanging over my head, like I never knew when I'd be discovered. Then about 2 weeks ago, my husband and I were told that people were finding out about it, so I knew the day was coming.
But it's okay because her subscription base probably grew by how many students are in her class from all the parents.
So she taught English to freshmen and sophomores and made about $42,000. last year, according to the newspaper's public pay database. She said she's earned an additional $8,000 to $10,000 a month performing on OnlyFans.
She'll make more money on OnlyFans than teaching, by far.
Two things. One, this is more a commentary about how little teachers make.
Yes.
And two, what were the school administration doing on OnlyFans?
It's true. I guess the question is, was she attractive? I have to assume if she's making $8,000 to $10,000 a month, she's probably fairly pretty.
One moment, sir. One moment.
They didn't have a picture on the article?
No.
Idiots. Get those clicks.
Right. There you go.
Yeah.
I mean, her hub's apparently with it, so
He might be on the page too. You never know.
it's absolutely. Absolutely. So I don't know. It's quite it's unfortunate.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate.
All right. Well, I got another one here.
Yes, sir.
AI can be used for a lot of things. Microsoft Bing AI generates images of Kirby doing 9/11.
What?
Yes, I'll send you the link while I read it because there's all kinds of photos, which of course will be in the show notes.
Yes.
Microsoft Bing's image creator has been around since March, using AI technology to generate images based on whatever the user types. You never know what sort of thing it might lead to, though. And in recent weeks, users have been using the tool to create images of Kirby and other popular characters flying planes into skyscrapers. So Microsoft doesn't want you to digitally recreate the September 11th attacks, but because AI tools are impossible to control, it seems unlikely it can stop users who really want to see SpongeBob commit acts of simulated terrorism. And I've tried to use that generator too, and it like bans you for like the stupidest words. So the fact that they actually managed to do this is amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I just hopped on Bing as you were telling me about this to see if I could create something. With so what I typed in was very insensitive. It was Homer Simpson causing the Oklahoma City bombing.
Oh God.
And so let's see.
It'll probably just give you an error or say no.
It says, please wait, your images are currently in progress.
Interesting, because when I tried to do even like Baphomet, it like banned me.
Well, listen. Oklahoma City bombing, fair game. Satan? Nope.
Probably true. This is happening even though Microsoft AI image generator has a long list of banned words and phrases, including 9/11, Twin Towers, and terrorism. The problem is that AI tools and their filters are usually easy to evade or work around.
Mm-hmm.
And did you scroll through the pictures?
Yeah. Yes, I did.
It looks so wrong. Adorable Kirby flying into Twin Towers. It's just not right. In this case, all you had to do to get Kirby the terrorist is input something like Kirby sitting in the cockpit of a plane, flying towards two tall skyscrapers in New York City.
What are people... What is... Why? Just
I don't know, but it's just... Yeah, it's wild.
We all know Kirby would swallow a terrorist and become the terrorist. Like, that's how this works with Kirby. He doesn't need a plane. But
I don't actually know anything about Kirby, truthfully.
that's all I know. All I know is what he does. Like, I didn't play too much Kirby.
No, it wasn't really my thing.
Mm-mm. So, science does some things that I wish it wouldn't. This is an article from NPR from October 18th this year. And, you know, Faye Yap and Daniel Preston. Yap's a mechanical engineering PhD student in Preston's lab at Rice University. They are trying to create grippers or tiny machines used to pick up and put down delicate objects. Now, that would be fine. However, in order to do this, they are reanimating spider corpses.
Just what we need.
Right. So
Spider zombies.
they've dubbed, now I will say this, the name they came up with is great. So they've dubbed this use of biotic materials for robotic parts as necrobotics, which is a cool name.
Yeah, because it's better than Spomby. Spider zombie.
I mean, necrobotics sounds like a heavy metal band, like a thrash metal band.
I would listen to them. Yep.
Not for spiders. Anyway, so
They would open for a dying fetus.
They would tour together. So Yap noticed dead spiders curled in the corners of the lab one day. Why did they die on their backs with their legs curled in? The question led her down a classic spiral of scientific curiosity. Quote, we did a really quick search online, and we found that spiders do not have antagonistic muscle pairs, she said. Instead, they rely on flexor muscles to curl their legs inward toward their body, and hydraulic pressure to extend their legs outward.
Wow.
So the spider biology was an inspiration for a pneumatic gripper or a claw-like device, like in the toy thing. But instead of a classic metal claw, they used the spider corpse. So she wondered if she could reimpose control over the spider legs using compressed air. So the injected air pressurizes the dead spider's hemolymph, which is a rough analog of blood that hasn't dried up in the corpse. The hemolymph adds pressure to the joints, creating a claw-like grabbing motion, and the experiment worked. So the necrobots could pick up fragile materials like wires and even other spiders up to 130% more massive than the reanimated spider grippers.
This is so bizarre.
It is 100% uncalled for. It needs to stop. And so, Yap, I need you to shut your yap and just cut it out before we end up having like literally my worst nightmare. So the only thing I'm okay with is that they're not using chemicals or drugs to do this, and the reanimation is strictly like mechanical.
For now. Yes. And then we're gonna have the next clickers like Last of Us.
Well, the next thing you know, they're starting to add hoses to human bodies, and they're just like, "Hi, how you doing?"
Next thing you know, it's going to be little Spider Borg. Resistance is futile.
I will leave this planet. In that case, I will become friends with Bezos because fuck Elon, and I will take a rocket wherever he's going.
Oh, just fuck them all. Just steal one.
That's fair. I could do that. Because I mean, Elon doesn't have any security anyways because he fires everybody. So should be easy.
It's true.
It should be easy. But he's got his kitchen sink, so it's fine.
Yeah. Man injected magic mushrooms into his veins, and they started to grow in his blood.
Wait. Wait. The mushrooms began growing
in his blood.
So he became a fun guy.
Yes. A man was hospitalized after injecting himself with a tea he made from magic mushrooms, and the fungus began to grow in his veins. In a case report published in the Journal of the Academy of Consultation Liaison Psychiatry. Let's rename that, please. Doctors described a 30-year-old man referred to as Mr. X for anonymity purposes, who sought to self-medicate for opioid dependency and depression. Doctors first became aware when he was brought into the emergency department by his family, who were concerned by his state of confusion. Family reported that he had recently stopped taking his medication prescribed for bipolar disorder type 1, after which he began to swing between depressive and manic states of mind. It was during this period that he began to research into the therapeutic effects of microdosing LSD and psilocybin. a naturally occurring psychedelic produced by over 200 species of mushrooms. So it has been shown to be therapeutic in many trials so far.
Yeah, but not injecting tea.
Yeah. However, this was all in controlled trials where the drug was taken orally. Mr. X obtained magic mushrooms and prepared what he called a mushroom tea by pouring boiling water over the fungus, which contained the water-soluble psilocybin. Drinking mushroom tea is a method used by many recreational takers, but he took it by injection by drawing it through cotton before injecting the concoction into his veins.
That's just literally like meth.
Yeah. So he began to develop a number of problems. By the time his family discovered him days later, he was jaundiced, he had nausea, diarrhea, extreme confusion, and had been vomiting blood. His organs had begun to fail, including his kidneys and his lungs, and he had suffered from an acute liver injury. His heart rate was elevated, and he was experiencing septic shock. In essence, things were not looking good by any measure, and he was placed into intensive care. And clots were forming in his blood, requiring investigation and treatment. So yeah, the species was growing in his blood. So yeah, just don't, if you're going to do magic mushrooms, eat it, drink it. Don't put it in your veins. Jesus.
Make like Weird Al and just eat it. Eat it.
Just eat it.
Who?
Yep.
You know, I've done some stupid shit in my day. But it did not involve injecting myself with tea.
True.
Just saying. So this comes from Copenhagen. Copenhagen.
Copenhagen.
So when you think of Vikings, what do you think of?
Pillaging and killing and also trading.
Barbaric, unsophisticated, swinging swords,
swinging something.
A lot like the GOP right now.
But actually good at what they do.
Yes, very good at what they do. Well, the reality is that over the past 25 years, archaeologists have been finding glass fragments in 6 excavations in southern Sweden, Denmark, and northern Germany. In Copenhagen, 61 fragments of glass panes have been analyzed, concluding that the pieces of glass can be dated from long before the churches and castles of the Middle Ages. They're dating these back between 800 and 1100, in which the Viking Age is considered to be from 793 to 1066. In other words, Vikings had windows.
Wow.
Yeah. It means basically Norseman dignitaries sat in rooms lit up by apertures with glass. And those can be dated from, like I said, long before churches.
Yeah.
The National Museum said, we only associated early window glass with the Middle Ages, therefore assuming that the glass could not originate from the Viking Age. The glass fragments, quote, can be dated to the Viking Age and most likely must have been in use in that time period as well. The glass windows were for the upper echelons of society and religious use, as was the case in the rest of Europe. Dengso Jessen said that there may have been glass windows in the Vikings' vast hall buildings. They were not large, transparent windows as we know them today, but probably smaller windows, possibly composed of flat pane glass in different shades of green and brown. The idea was not to be able to look out, but to create a colorful inflow of light into the building.
I like it.
Yeah. And the museum said they most likely acquired this through trade, and it probably came from either, somewhere within Europe again or North America. But it's something that, you usually think of these dark, dingy, dirty, bearded, but here they are just kind of gingerly placing a window pane into their halls.
Yeah.
I don't know. It made me chuckle. It was something that I find absolutely fascinating. I know nothing. I really know not much about Vikings other than what we talked about months ago on this show.
They make for good TV shows, and that's about all I know, really.
You almost sound like an American. Stop it.
Don't say that. Just kidding.
I said almost. Almost. But yeah, so Vikings had windows.
That's cool. Well, I'm gonna get another one since you went on the Wayback Machine, I'm going to change up the article I was going to tell.
Uh-oh.
All right. This is from archaeologyworld.com. It's a bit of an older one, but I just found it, and it was amazing to me. A student found an ancient Canadian village that's 10,000 years older than the pyramids.
Go on.
An ancient village dating back to before the pyramids era was discovered by a team of Canadian PhD students. CTV reported that a team of students from the University of Victoria Archaeology Department has uncovered the oldest settlement in North America. This ancient village was discovered when researchers were searching, I think it's Turquette Island, an island located about 300 miles north of Victoria, British Columbia. The team found ancient fish hooks and spears, as well as tools for making fire. However, they really hit the jackpot when they found an ancient cooking hearth from which they were able to obtain flakes of charcoal burnt by prehistoric Canadians. Using carbon dating on charcoal flakes, the researchers were able to determine that the settlement dated back to 14,000 years ago, making it significantly older than the pyramids of ancient Egypt, which were built about 4,700 years ago.
Holy shit.
Yes. So that to understand this, one has to consider that the ancient ruler of Egypt, Cleopatra, lived closer in time to you than she did to the creation of the pyramids. So, yeah.
It's the equivalent of like when you think of like 1987 being 35 years ago, almost 36.
Yeah.
And like that's the equivalent of like the 50s to the 80s.
So there's oral history from indigenous, I'm going to say it's Hilsuk people, and I'm sorry, I've never heard of this indigenous group, which told of a sliver of land that never froze during the last ice age. So that could be why it was there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's just really interesting to me that they found in British Columbia here the oldest village in history in North America.
I mean,
and by a long shot too.
Oh, for sure. I mean, wasn't the movement of humans was across like Russia into Canada, correct?
I think they believe so, through Alaska and down into Canada. They believe.
And that helps that thought.
Yeah, exactly. It does.
So Ed Curry, the South Carolina hot pepper expert who crossbred and grew the Carolina Reaper that's hotter than most pepper sprays police use to subdue unruly criminals, has broken his own world record with a pepper that's 3 times hotter. Pepper X was publicly named the hottest pepper in the world on October 9th by the Guinness Book of World Records, beating out the Reaper in Curry's a decade-long hunt to perfect a pepper that he says provides immediate, brutal heat. Curry said when he first tried Pepper X, it did more than warm his heart.
I bet it did.
I was feeling the heat for 3.5 hours. Then the cramps came, said Curry, one of only 5 people so far to eat an entire Pepper X. Those cramps are horrible. I was laid out flat on a marble wall for approximately an hour in the rain, groaning in pain.
Oh my God, that sounds awful. And then he sat in a toilet for hours, groaning in pain too, I'm sure.
Oh, I bet. So heat in peppers is measured in Scoville heat units, as we know. 0 is bland. A regular
0 is white
pepper.
people.
What?
0 is white people.
Yeah, right. A regular jalapeno pepper registers around 5,000 units. A habanero, the record holder about 25 years ago, typically tops 100,000 units. The Guinness Book of World Records lists the Carolina Reaper at 1.64 million units. That's the Reaper.
Yeah.
Pepper X has been in the works since Curry set the hottest pepper record in 2013 with that Reaper. And the goal was to offer an extremely hot pepper flavored with sweetness. Pepper X is greenish yellow. Doesn't exactly have the shelf appeal It's a crossbreed of a Carolina Reaper and what Curry mysteriously classifies as a, quote, pepper that a friend of mine sent me from Michigan that was brutally hot.
Yeah, they're kind of ugly looking.
The final Pepper X has an average of 2.693 million Scoville heat units. And there
That's terrible.
Is there a picture of him eating this? Oh, there is a. Yep. You and I are gonna watch this afterwards for sure.
All right, sounds good.
All right, but we're gonna move on to animals.
An aquarium accident may have given this crayfish the DNA to take over the world. Finding may also provide clues to how cancer spreads.
Oh.
It sounds like a bad monster movie plot. A 10-legged mutant creature that reproduces asexually escapes from confinement in Germany and quietly begins global invasion.
Oh, God.
Within 2 decades, clones of varicose animals spread through Europe and Africa, bringing devastation to ecosystems and threatening native species.
Good God.
That appears to be the strange but true story of the marbled crayfish, an invasive freshwater species suspected to have been created through a reproductive accident in an aquarium around 1995. A new analysis of the crustacean genome supports this unlikely origin and may help explain how the animal has sequentially spread and adapted to so many new environments. The crayfish's unusual evolution could also suggest a strategy to tackle a more infamous global monster, cancer. In many ways, the invasive expansion of the marble crayfish is analogous to cancerous lineage spreading asexually at the expense of its host. God damn it, these science things and their big words. So the marble crayfish is the only decapod crustacean that reproduces asexually, with the all-female species making clones of itself from eggs unfertilized by sperm. It has been thought to have arisen when 2 slew crayfish imported from Florida for the aquarium trade in Germany mated.
Of course.
Fucking Florida. So yeah, since it was discovered in 1995 in Germany, the marble crayfish has spread across Europe and into Africa in huge numbers. They eat anything, rotten leaves, snails, or fish broods, small fish, small insects. The crayfish is a serious pest. 5 years ago, the scientists became interested in the marble crayfish, now called... Oh, I'm not saying that. Marble crayfish, because he thought its newly evolved asexual nature might parallel how a normal cell turns cancerous and begins generating clones of itself. In particular, he wanted to study the genomes of marble crayfish to uncover basic mechanisms underlying epigenetics, the binding of molecules to DNA that can drive tumor growth and help cancer spread. There you go. It turns into science as well as animals. Fucking crazy little crayfish, though.
Yeah. Yeah. No, they can go away. I don't like anything that's invasive.
True.
You know? Including the English. So
oh my.
Take that. The world's oldest dog in Portugal has died.
Oh.
Would you like to guess how old he was?
25?
Older.
35.
31.
Wow.
This dog was 31. He was a guard dog. I don't really know what that means exactly. He doesn't look like a guard dog. His name was Bobby. He died in a vet hospital. He lived on a farm in the village of Conqueiros in Portugal with Costa and 4 cats. He was born on May 11th, 1992, when his owner was just 8 years old.
Wow.
In an interview, Costa told the AP that Bobby's secret to a long life was good food, fresh air, and lots of love. Although Costa says Bobby eats what we eat. What's more, he's never been put on a leash.
Wow.
So he claimed the Guinness World Record from, well, an Australian cattle dog named Bluey, who died in 1939, aged 29. And he held that record for almost a century. Yeah, this dog was 31 years and 165 days. The average, he was a purebred Rafeiro do Alentejo, which is a breed of Portuguese dog that has an average life expectancy of 10 to 14 years. This dog did not look, I will send this to you. Usually when you think of like an old dog like that, you think, oh, that's a decrepit, like, this dog did not look decrepit at all.
It looks so cute.
Right? So anyways, long live Bobby, and may he hold the record for 100 years, because honestly, at that point, the dog was probably like, dude, let me go.
Yeah.
So yeah. Wow. Good job, Bobby.
Yes.
Good boy.
Worms with spider genes spin silk tougher than bulletproof Kevlar.
You get out of here with that shit. Get out of here with it. Get
Spider
gone.
silk is stretchy, strong, and tough, but genetically engineering a more cooperative organism to produce it has proved elusive. Now, researchers have used gene editing to make silkworms that can spin spider fibers tougher than the Kevlar used in bulletproof vests. The material described today in Matter is really high-performance fiber, says Justin Jones, a biologist who engineered spider silk at Utah State University, but who is not involved with the research. It could be used to make lightweight but tough structural materials for fuel-efficient planes and cars, he says, wound dressings for faster healing, and super thin but tough sutures for eye surgeries. People have been cultivating silkworms for thousands of years, unwinding their cocoons to provide material for textiles, but their silk breaks easily. Spiders have the opposite problem. They make incredible silks, but the arachnids are hard to cultivate. 100 silkworms can hang around peacefully in a small space, whereas 100 confined spiders will attack one another until only one or two of them are alive. So yeah, that's it. That's really interesting that they've got these silkworms that now spin spider silk.
Nope. Nope.
Well, at least it's no spider then, right?
Fair. No arguments from me on that front. Yeah, so, it kind of falls in my realm, doesn't it? An emotional support alligator was denied entry into a baseball stadium. Before we get into the funny, let me dispel some confusion here. A service dog is covered by the ADA, which is the Americans with Disability Act. This is for the United States. Which means that they are allowed in places to go with you because they are trained to do one thing, they are trained to do it well, and that is what they're supposed to be focused on. A therapy dog is not covered by anything, and they are simply there for you to love.
Yeah.
An emotional support animal is covered by the Fair Housing Act. And by having a certificate or something from a doctor saying you need an emotional support animal, it could be any animal, and it only basically what it does is it allows you to have that animal in rental properties, etc., without having to pay fees and stuff like that. It allows nothing else. Just because you have an ESA, emotional support animal, doesn't mean you can get on a plane with them, doesn't mean you can go into businesses with them. You don't have that right.
Boo.
So while this is funny, they did the right thing. Joey Henney took Wally the alligator to the home of the Philadelphia Phillies ahead of their game against Pittsburgh on Wednesday, much to the surprise of onlookers. Wally, or Wallygator, is considered a support animal and has tens of thousands of followers on social media, where he's often seen being hugged or kissed. Speaking to Sky News, Mr. Henney said that they had gone to watch the match. Match? Who called? you know what? Get him out of here. But we're due to meet the players. They were due to meet the players, but by the time they arrived, the team was busy warming up. It was no big deal. They simply turned and went home. We were going to go in down below the stadium, but they were practicing for the game and couldn't have visitors. They were going to get a hold of us before they got to their next game. Soon players will get to meet him. Citizens Bank Park's policy on support animals says that guide dogs, service animals, or service animals in training are welcome. All other animals are prohibited. Mr. Henney, who rescues reptiles, said he first met Wally after his friend captured him in Florida and dropped him off as a joke in September of 2015. Of course, Florida. He says, quote, but the joke's on him now. Wally won't ever bite, and nobody knows why, he said, and even his food must be dead and handed to him. He since helps Mr. Henney through depression, who claims he is every bit a support animal. He's got a lot of people's attention, and he's famous for hugs and kisses. Despite that, he is still an emotional support animal.
Yep.
Good for you. Good for him. Good for whoever has not died. However, no. Just
yep.
Man, what is the deal with dogs dying? The world's tallest dog died.
Oh
He
God.
was only 3, but he was a Great Dane, so that checks out.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. Does it say how tall he was? Because that doesn't. What's the point of reading this article if you don't tell me how tall he was?
Sounds about right.
1 meter tall, which is 3.28 feet. Why does that not sound like a lot?
Yeah, I've seen some seriously tall dogs.
This picture looks a lot longer than 1 meter tall, which I just sent you.
I'm gonna look at the world's tallest dog species. He
mean, the
looks a
dog
lot
is
taller
massive.
than that. She must
Poor
be
guy.
super short.
Great Danes they have so many problems. Their stomachs turn and twist. This Zeus ended up dying from complications following treatment for bone cancer, which is unfortunate, but also something that, if you're not responsible breeding, this is what you get. So
Sort of like German Shepherds and their hip dysplasia.
yep, Cocker Spaniels in their ears, and skin. Yeah,
Boxers in their cancer.
French bulldogs in their faces.
Or their breathing.
Or they're breathing. Right. Both.
Yeah.
Both and yes.
True.
Wow. Well,
All right.
there's your super bonus dose of animals.
Yes. On a downer note, this is the end of the episode.
No.
More downer than all that.
Right. Well,
So make sure you behave or
Fuck around and find out.
and you might find yourself on next month's BrewVerie Report.
for all the sources for this episode of BrewVerie, head to BrewVerie True Crime Podcast or Brew Crime Podcast's feeds on your favorite podcast host. This has been a production of Brew Crime Podcast and BrewVerie True Crime.
Zeus!
Jesus!
Jesus!